So now that the beta for the Division 2 is finally over, or it's going to end today rather, I don't know what time. I'm completely done with the beta. I finished doing everything. I didn't get to level 8, but that really isn't important because hey, your progress isn't going to carry over. Everything that you would have given to you in the game. In case you didn't know, you could have completed the Dark Zone tutorial. You get something, you play the beta, you get something. The other thing was, I forgot what it was off of the top of my head, but you had to do 4 things. I did all 4 of them. I did everything there is to offer. I completed the level 30 mission. That was one of them. Now that I'm talking about it, I remember that was one of them. Personally, I went with the crossbow guy. Not really that great compared to what I've seen some people do with the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, not the rocket. But with all of that out of the way, I'm going to give my impressions of the beta, how I feel about the game. The first thing I want to sort of crossbreed together, it's the gunplay mixed with the cover system. I understand this is a cover-based game, but for it to be as strong of a cover-based game as it is, the cover system seems very clunky at times. You can say that the Uncharted series is a cover-based game, but every single time I ever played Uncharted, it never felt as clunky as this game did. With that being said, it also, for some reason, they make you aim better, or maybe it's just a placebo effect when you're in cover more. Logically speaking, I probably can aim better when I'm standing straight up, stationary, have both hands on a gun, able to control my breathing, and actually aim. I don't understand the logic behind that, but I did it with a sniper out of cover. The reticle moved, swayed a whole lot more than when I actually got in cover. It seemed to be more controlled. I don't understand that logic, but you know, it is what it is. I feel like the gunplay in this game could be a little bit better. Maybe I'm just used to Destiny's gunplay, and it honestly is probably, Destiny has the best gunplay ever in any video game. That I can tell you every single time. I will never talk bad about Destiny because of that. So maybe I'm just spoiled, but that's besides the point. Overall, the gunplay it felt good, but because the gunplay is such emphasized with the cover system, it really can become quite annoying, especially when you have AI flanking you. And this game really makes the AI flank you. Playing solo, I played everything solo except for like the things that you would think you want to play with a team, like the infiltrated missions. I don't know what they're called. I know it's something like infiltrated, where the group that, I already forgot the name of the group, but the in-game group, they take over the main story missions. That's what their in-game essentially is. You just replaying the story missions with higher enemies, a new enemy type, but it's still the same enemy just with a different name. But back to the gunplay. A lot of times it feels, for lack of a better word, almost like you're trying to aim through mud. Like you can move fast. My camera sensitivity was on 20 and my gun sensitivity, props to that. I love that in video games because I will always have my camera sensitivity to the highest, and my aim down sight will usually be close to the max, but not entirely. It's 13 if you're wondering, so a little bit halfway. 20 is the max, 13 is like there at the end. So it's not that I have a slow sensitivity for aiming, it's just that the gunplay feels very heavy, and to me that's one of the downfalls in the beta. That's obviously nothing that's going to be changed in the main game, but I really feel like they could polish it up a little bit. As for the open world aspect of the game, I mean, it's an open world game, but a lot of the things, if you're playing solo, one of the things I've grown accustomed to with most open world games, if they're a multiplayer online game, you know, not like Borderlands where it's pretty much a single player game, but you can have multiple people in there. This isn't what that game is really trying to do. This game is meant to be a multiplayer game. I mean, their raids are going to have 8 people in them. A lot of times when you're playing solo, the open world just feels very barren. You almost are forced to play with someone in free roam if you want the world to feel lively. And I feel like they could have did it more so like Destiny, to where there's certain lobbies within certain zones, and those lobbies can be populated by certain players. It doesn't feel very lively. Maybe if you were in New York, don't get me wrong, there's enemies everywhere in the open world. There's NPCs that actually help you fight battles in the open world. But a lot of the times I just felt very distant, even though the White House, the base of operations, was only a few streets over. And that and safe houses, I don't know if it's safe houses per se, you can only see real life players through them. But the good news is that every single activity, except from what I saw of side missions, has matchmaking. I don't know if in the main game side missions will have matchmaking. I'm not sure about that. Hopefully they do, because I played the main story mission solo and I played the side mission solo. And the side missions were 10 times harder than the main story mission. That's saying a lot of the times the difficulty just straight up comes down to flanking. If you have 4 people in your group, when they flank you, you're always probably going to have someone behind you. So the guy behind you will be able to see this guy flanking, then the guy behind him will be able to see this guy flanking. But if you're solo, sometimes there's 2 guys that will run in a pack running at you, and you know they're going to try to flank you, so you have to run farther back through the doorway to the back, so that way you know there's only one line of sight to where you can see and they can't flank you. The other aspects of the game, the level 30 mission that you get to play, that's what I was talking about. It's just a revamped version of the main story missions. You were able to choose between a guy with a grenade launcher, a sniper, and a crossbow. And as I said, I chose the crossbow. I saw someone playing with the grenade launcher. One of the people on my team, which just to tell you, we had to finish doing it with only 2 people in our group. 3 people left through the game. And that's one of my complaints that sort of is integrated into this. When someone leaves, they're able to occupy that spot, even though for like 5 minutes, and I'm not even kidding you, it said that they were disconnected 5 minutes straight. So that's 5 minutes that it takes for it to wait for someone to join in again. And to me, that's one of the downfalls of it. I don't know if there's a way to rejoin. I wouldn't imagine there's a way to rejoin since it's a public lobby and it's matchmaking, but I really would want to see a quicker time of finding other players to be put back into that lobby. I mean, if it's a group you've made, by all means, don't let that spot be occupied. But if it's public matchmaking, that spot should be filled almost instantly, because the missions, if you got 4 people, they're not hard. The only time they're hard, my team, and I might have some footage of this, I'll show it to you guys right now. We just kept getting spawn trapped at the very start. We pushed up, we cleared the starting room easily, got to the next room, then the little robot thing runs in through there. It was the first time for the guy playing it, so I suspect he didn't know it was coming, so I don't blame him for dying. But that set off a chain of events, and we just kept getting spawn trapped in the pool of water in pretty much the first combat area over and over again. And I'm not even kidding you, I probably died like 5 or 6 times because it kept respawning us at different times. There's a 30-second timer in this game. So each time one person would spawn, all the AI would focus on that guy, shoot him and down him. It wasn't until we were able to get out alive when we all spawned at the same time. But after that, as I said, it was pretty smooth sailing and we went through it with relative ease. There was another part that I found a bug to where I got stuck on a car. I had to actually leave that lobby and restart entirely because I got stuck. I'll show you the footage here. I'm not sure if the other guy got stuck, but he was able to get off of the car, and how he gets off of the car, you can almost see what I was talking about earlier. The cover system just feels clunky. It feels very, very bad. And that's a shame because, like I said, the gunplay is good. It's not great. There's a lot to be desired for an open world game where shooting is emphasized. It's pretty good. The last thing I'll speak on, I don't really want to talk about the Dark Zone because I didn't do the Dark Zone that much. Supposedly there's matchmaking in it, but every time I tried to matchmake, it just was grayed out to where I couldn't matchmake for it. So I didn't do much in the Dark Zone. I didn't extract anything. I did the quest and that was it. The other player versus player aspect to it was skirmish. And I don't know if it's just me, but skirmish just feels bad. My forte when it comes to online player versus player video games are third-person shooters. And this isn't me bragging whatsoever. I was great at Uncharted 3, great at Uncharted 2, great at Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, Resistance. Resistance honestly was my very first online multiplayer. not Resistance, because I think Resistance didn't have multiplayer. Resistance 2 is what I'm talking about, but when I say Resistance, I'm just referencing the whole franchise. My brother actually gave me and my younger brother the game, and we used to be nothing but sports players. We played Madden over and over. And a quick boast, yes, at one time I did crack the top 100 Madden players. Me and my brother played it night and day religiously. And overall, I think our records ended up being on both of our accounts. Altogether, it had to be like 200 to like 6. We literally never got past the double-digit losses on any of those games. Just a quick did you know fact right there. That's one of the things that I really felt proud about. And then Madden became a horrible game, so I left it. Overall, my opinion of this beta though, it has a lot of great things about it, and there are some things that I would like to see changed. As for whether I get it when it releases, it's looking like I might, but there's no guarantees because, as I said in my Anthem video, I really enjoy games like this. I really enjoy games to where I can just play them for days, months, hours on end, always having something to do, and it doesn't get repetitive. I'm waiting for Borderlands. From what I saw though, if you enjoy these types of games and how I played it, I really think that in the end, if you buy this, you're not going to regret it. I can't speak for Anthem, but the end game in this game is almost equivalent to Destiny. The missions that are level 30 essentially boils down to being strikes. And with Destiny, they're sort of how they're doing now, recycling story missions to be strikes. I guess they saw that that was easier than making entirely new things, and I guess it's sort of going to be the norm now. But it is what it is. You know, these types of games, they're not easy to make because there's so many components to be made. Being an open world game and the maps are relatively large. I have 2 weeks to think over if I'll get it though. And if I get it, overall the quality, the upgrade system, everything that should be in an open world game is there, and it's well thought out. If you buy this game, I feel like it's going to be really well received, and from what I've seen in the beta, it definitely seems like it will be well deserved.